Hi everyone, welcome back to Small Caliber Arms Review. Let's do an unboxing. We don't need a box. Here it is. This is the Mossberg 817. If you ever seen a Mossberg 802 Plankster, it come out a few years ago. It's got this kind of funky thumb hole stock on here with a really pronounced pistol grip on it. It is a bolt action. This one is a 17 caliber. The 802 was a 22 caliber, and I've been looking for one of those. I seen one in a store about 3 or 4 years ago, and I have not seen one since. But I've been on the lookout for one for a while, and then I come across this, the 817, which is the same design pretty much, but in my favorite caliber, 17 HMR. Let's get this thing put together, get it cleaned up a little bit, and get it out on the range. Picked up probably one of the cheapest scopes you can get on there. This is a 3-12 by 40 adjustable objective rifle scope. It's the Sweet 17 from BSA. This is not an expensive scope. This is not an expensive rifle. So, you know, you should spend, I don't know, the rule of thumb used to be like 4 times your cost of your rifle for your glass. We're not going to do that on this. Now, this rifle is pretty cheap. When I first seen the 802 Plankster in a store, you could pick it up for about $100 on sale. This, I paid somewhere around the 160, 170 mark for it. Picked up the scope and the rings for about 80 bucks. So we'll get it put together and see how it does. Now this scope did come with some rings already on it, but these are for the 3/8 dovetail on there, and this has got the Weaver bases on it. So I went ahead and picked up another set of rings. These are UTG, which is under the gun, and we're going to take these out and put them on. Pretty good for me right about there. Not too bad. You've got a little bit of adjustment on there, not a whole lot though. And once you get it where you want it, go ahead and snug it down and call it good. Get everything snugged down a little bit, check it, make sure you're still good. It still looks pretty good to me there. And if you're satisfied with it, snug everything down. You can put some Loctite on there. A 17 HMR does not have a whole lot of recoil, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to snug everything down pretty good, not excessively tight. And I'm going to run the bore snake through the barrel here just to make sure there's no factory garbage, debris, or anything in there, maybe some dust and stuff from shipping, because you want your barrel just as clean as it can be before you go shooting. They've got these little bronze brushes embedded in there, and they really do a good job of scrubbing things up. Plus the rest of it is just kind of a floss to kind of clean anything out. Alright, I've run the bore snake through there a couple times, and there's no debris in there. It's nice and clean, good spiraling in there. Of course, it's a brand new rifle. It should be good spiraling. And we'll go ahead and wipe the bolt down and stuff and get it put in there, get it out on the field. Alright, we've got the Mossberg International 817 out here. Now that's one of the things I forgot to mention. Mossberg International, this is made in Brazil. and marketed under the Mossberg name. But anyways, we've got it out here. We got it topped off with the BSA Sweet 17. Like I said, this scope has got some kind of odd covers to it. They actually screw on, and they're aluminum. They're anodized aluminum. Not the real quick, you know, dismount and everything. So I would probably recommend getting some the band or bikini style, they call them, that go on there, or some different kind of scope covers than that. You could even put some flip ups on there. But it does have an adjustable objective, which I'm not really fond of that. I like side parallax on them, but I got it set at 100. I've got it set at 12 power, which I think you're supposed to zero it in at 8 power, somewhere around there, but 100 yards away, that target's a little hard to see. I've got some Hornady 17 grain VMAX out here. These are 17 grains, 2,550 feet per second at the muzzle, 1901 at 100 yards. We're going to zero it in at 100 yards because with the paperwork that comes with the Sweet 17 scope, it says in here, if you zero it in at 100, they have turrets that are calibrated for the 17 HMR, and you zero it in at 100, take your cap, reset it, you can set it at 100 yards, and then you should be good to adjust it. It should be accurate at 100, 200, 300, whatever, you know. You got the markings on the turret, and you can go ahead and adjust your elevation for the distance you're shooting according to the markings that are on there. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, we're just going to zero it in at 100 and see how it does. All right, we've got the Hornady VMAX out here, and it is a 5-round magazine, which makes it pretty nice. They're in rows of 5. Dump them out. It loads just like just about any other stick style magazine. You got the little notch there where the rim goes. Put it in, push it back, load all 5 of them up, and put it in the rifle and go. And we'll go ahead and give it a few shots at the 50-yarder and see what we get. All right, again, with the sun backlighting my target, it's a little difficult to see. I'm gonna walk up there and take a look at that. Okay, so this is 50-yard target. I took a shot at it, and there's my hole in the paper right there. The elevation is perfect at 50 yards. I just got to bring it over 5 inches because these are 1-inch squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll give it a try. All right, I can see my point of impact in the scope now that I know where I'm supposed to be looking at, and not even close. A little closer. Let's try that. All right, I need to move 1 inch over to the left again. All right. Now that was my 5th round. So I've got to load up 5 more. All right, there's 10 rounds. I got 2 of them right in the little red circle right in the center there. I think I'm good to go ahead and take some shots at the 100-yard. Okay, there are my 5 shots I just did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got the one flyer in there. It's probably maybe a little hasty, but those 4 right there, that's pretty good. I probably clicked a little too far to the left. I could probably go back a couple clicks, maybe 3 clicks to the right, and because that's kind of half the distance there between the 2 groups. That didn't do too bad. Now this is a varmint rifle. It's not a target rifle. It's a very inexpensive rifle, that's for sure. like I said, around the $150 mark, depending on where you get it. It doesn't do too bad. And I mean, for a varmint rifle, if you're taking out groundhogs, maybe coyotes if you want, the 17 is a pretty light round. You can get a little heavier ones that would probably be, you know, more capable in hunting coyotes, but this doesn't do too bad. All right, 17 HMR is probably one of my favorite calibers. It is a 22 Magnum that's been necked down to a 17 caliber bullet. 17 grains, 2,550 feet per second. It's a fun little round. They're fairly inexpensive. A box of 50 is going to cost you around the $10 to $13 mark, somewhere around there. There's different brands, Hornady, Remington, CCI, Federal. I've got a bunch of them because, like I said, it's one of my favorite rounds. Now, I've got a couple other bolt action 17 HMRs, and they were not as inexpensive as this gun. Like I said, this one, less than $200. My other ones, I paid more than $200. I've seen them upwards of $500 to $700, depending on what brand you're looking at. But 17 is a really fun caliber. I've got it sighted in now at 100 yards, and I can reset my turret on the top there for elevation. Go ahead and take it loose, turn it, and put it back on there so that it lines up with the 100-yard mark. Really, to me, a 17 is, yes, it's capable over 100 yards, but it's difficult. The farther you get out with such a tiny round, the more things take, the more things take a toll on it. A little bit of a breeze, and like I said, it's starting to pick up out here a little bit now, will affect this tiny round quite a bit. But it's a fun round, and this is a varmint rifle, and that group I just shot at 100 yards is more than capable of taking out a groundhog, a coyote, you know, venomous duck, whatever you got. And it's a fun rifle, it's an inexpensive rifle, and I'm going to try to take out a golf ball now at 100 yards. All right, one golf ball down. All right, there it is, guys. This is the Mossberg 817. It's a good little rifle. It's really lightweight at about 4.5 pounds. It does have a feature, a little piece of a rail underneath the end of the fore end here. You can put a bipod on there. You can put a varmint light on there if you want to get out and do some coyote hunting at night. Check your local listings because it might not be legal where you're at. It's a good little rifle. It shoots a pretty good group at 100 yards. I don't know that I would want to take many shots outside of 100 yards. It is capable of doing it. It's just the longer that bullet's out there, the more it's affected by wind. At 17 grains, it's pretty tiny and pretty susceptible to some winds. It comes with a 5-round magazine. I have not seen a 10-round magazine for it. Check around. You might be able to find one. I have not been able to. You could probably pick you up some extra 5-round magazines to have handy if you're out having a good day of varmint hunting. Or you can reload it. They reload pretty easy. Just snap them right in there and you're ready to go. This scope is really inexpensive, about 80 bucks for the scope and the rings. I'm not a real big fan of the aluminum covers that are on there. Of course, it'll really keep your glass protected, but if you need it in a hurry, they're take a little bit longer to get off of there. If you could, go ahead and hit this button up here to subscribe, hit this button over here to check out some of my other videos, and I'll put a link in the description to some of the products I've used. And thanks for watching Small Caliber Arms Review.